Alright, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. Y'all have some nice Minecraft music in the back because I'm playing Minecraft. But we're gonna be talking about Mary and like if you should summon, right? I'll have one for Neon as well, and then I'll have a before you summon for both of them as one video before the banners go live. Now, obviously, I read the comments of the initial video of me going over the skills, seeing if she's good or bad. And let's clarify, she is a good healer, right? I think honestly, especially with the characters we have on Nikke, that's all she's probably going to be used as. I mean, you can use her as your main burst one, like not DPS, but your main burst one unit. But me personally, I don't know if that's really going to be the right play, especially since her, what's it called? Her first skill, right, which just works when entering a full burst, stacks every time, right? Yes, you're going to be getting the heal every time you use her burst skill specifically, but her first skill, if you just want her for a healer, that first skill is going to be more than enough, not as the main like burst one character, but just on the team, right? Because you just need to enter a full burst. Now, my problem with this character, and I guess based on the comments I'm reading, a lot of people's problem with this character is the fact that she is really like, her better stuff in terms of supporting in terms of damage is only for water coated allies, right? Her second skill is a damage buff, but only to water coated allies, and then her attack buff is only to water coated allies. Now, a lot of people were like, you know, I see some people are like, oh, he's sleeping on Vesti. No, it's not that I'm sleeping on Vesti. I'm being realistic, right? Dorothy's a character that everybody uses. Privity's a character that everybody uses. Helm is a character that everybody uses, and that's really where the list stops. I gave Brit the benefit of the doubt. Nobody really uses her. Vesti's really good in terms of damage on blacksmith as well, right? In SI and tower, she's gonna be very, very good there, right? But you're not gonna use her, especially with these new bunny girls that like it seems like everybody ended up getting. Realistically, you're not gonna need this girl whatsoever, right? At least I don't think so. I've never really seen anybody use Vesti. I've never seen anybody talk about Vesti. I've used her once for blacksmith, but that's when I had barely like not any characters, because I obviously had characters, but like they weren't in synchro device back then, right? Now I'm in a position where I have almost every single character in the game, and I just have better options, right? So yes, she does benefit Vesti as well, but nobody's really going to be using Vesti like that, right? And I'm not going to be summoning on Mary's banner for Vesti. Now, should you summon for her? Most likely, yes. I say most likely yes, because remember, she's a limited character. As of right now, they have not mentioned anything about a rerun for Rupee or Anne on this banner, which is fine, of course. But as of right now, she's a limited character. And since they haven't said anything about Anne or Rupee rerunning on this banner, we don't know still if limited characters will ever rerun. Right? If the other two seasonal limited characters are not rerunning on this banner, right, then we still will not know until I guess Christmas, right? Christmas is the really only time we'll finally figure out if limiteds are like gonna rerun or not, right? Because obviously they're Christmas units, but they're still seasonal characters at the end of the day, right? So in terms of a collection and not being, because she's a character who again will be very good along the future, right? She's a character who is going to be really good with water coated allies. We're going to get a time where they drop a lot of characters and they're all going to be water coated allies, right? They're going to drop characters who are water coated allies, right? Her healing is already great. Like, she's probably one of the best healers in the game. Because her heal is basically Blanc's, but better in terms of the numbers, right? Obviously, the recover 1% of the caster's max HP every 1 second for 5 seconds is not that crazy, but that is a total of 5.25%. Right, through the course of the time. Then the second time it goes to 3.95, and again you multiply that by 5, and then you go to the last one, which is 6.86, and you multiply that by 5, right? And remember, the previous effects are also triggered, so by the time you get to that third full burst, you're gonna have a person who's healing you to full within 2 seconds. Literally, it's almost that nasty. Of her max HP, and she's probably gonna have her max HP over 1 million. Most of your characters will have full HP by the end of like by 2 seconds, right? So her healing is very, very good. And not to mention, if you do decide to use her burst 1, you have the extra recovering off her max HP for 10 seconds, right? The extra HP there. So in terms of a healer, yes, right? I would highly recommend to summon if you need a healer, right? This might be like the second best healer in the game. Actually, right? I say second best because I don't think anybody's going to replace Rapunzel, right, for a long time, because Rapunzel's a character who you get her, you're healing every time you use a full charge. For a character like this, you're only healing when you're in a full burst. That's it. But for Rapunzel, you're healing all the time. As long as you use a full charge, you're healing 3 allies, which is pretty good, right? So that extra time you probably need to heal where she's not going to be healing, only Rapunzel is going to be healing during that time. So I definitely still think Rapunzel is going to be the best healer, but I don't have no problem saying Mary's the second best healer, because after that first skill, not to mention her burst skill, but just really off that first skill, she's going to be healing you to full within like 2 seconds, if you want me to be honest, right? Now, again, so remember, she's going to be one of the best healers in the game, all right? She's going to be a limited character. Those are 2 main reasons why you would want to summon for her, right? She's one of the best healers in the game, and she is a limited character. I would out of all the limited characters, this is probably the actually a limited character that you do not want to miss on, right? Makima was pretty cool. Power was pretty cool. They had some cool effects, right? But obviously, I want to say Makima's lasted for the long run, but Powers didn't really last for the long run because there's other characters. Anne and Rupee. Anne is really a god tier PvP character, and that's where she's gonna shine the most. Rupee is like an okay character at best, but those characters are not characters you're willingly using everywhere. This is a character who's possibly going to be, like I said, top 3 healers in the game. She's gonna be used everywhere because you're gonna need a healer everywhere, right? You're gonna need a healer when you get in PvP, tower, what is it? And what is she? Is Mary an Elysion? I almost... She's a Tetra, I forgot. Okay, the Tetra doesn't need more here. If she was an Elysion, it would be perfect for the Elysion tower, but I forgot she's a Tetra. Yeah, so literally limited and one of the best healers. Those are 2 good reasons of why you would want to summon for her. That's it. She's definitely a character who doesn't need dupes, so just buy your 1 copy or summon for your 1 copy and go on, right? Obviously dupes do help her out a lot though, because obviously the more dupes you have, the more your max HP goes, and that's what you really want, since her whole thing is based on her max HP. So obviously the more dupes you have, the better it is. But again, when it comes to healers and characters who are based on their max HP, there's almost every character can get to over 1 million HP without any dupes, and that's just the truth, right? I think actually almost every single one of my healers, if not every single one of my healers, have over 1 million HP and they don't have a dupe in them. I think only Pepper has dupes in her, but Blanc does it, my Rapunzel doesn't. So yeah, the healers don't have dupes, but they can get well over 1 million. And remember, if that's stacking, right? If that's 30, that's like 32, let's say that's 32, 30, like, let's say 34%, right? For that 3rd time you use that burst skill, or you enter a full burst. That's 30, let's say 34%. You're healing 34% of her max HP on top of the extra, what, 19, 18% from the second time, and then most likely the extra 5.25% from the first time. I don't think anybody replied to my my comment down there, but let me ask you again, does it include the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd when you get to the 3rd burst skill? It's been a while. I believe it does, but it's been a minute since I've used a character like that. So literally, like, last character I used like this was Litter, and it's been a minute since I've used Litter, trust me. So I don't really remember, but I think it does work like that. And even if it doesn't, even just that 2nd and 3rd time you use it, the 3rd time you use it, even if it just counts the 2nd one, that's more than enough to get you to damn near full HP, especially if you're using her as your main burst one. So yes, I would highly recommend everybody summon for this girl, even if you already have healers, right? Even if you have Rapunzel, even if you have things, because she's gonna be, again, one of the best healers in the game. When it comes to union raid, when it comes to solo raids, she's gonna be one of the best options to use, because you're gonna need a healer for all those different teams you're forced to make for those what's it called, even in PvP, right? Especially how PvP is working and they're actually changing the groups and stuff, you're going to need her at least on one of those different teams, right? So I would highly recommend to summon for this girl specifically, just for her heal mechanics. In terms of the water code allies, all that stuff, you could kind of just ignore it, honestly. I'm personally not going to summon on this character for the water code ally stuff. That's a nice like buff there, it's a nice addition, but it's just not it for me. realistically, I don't think I'm going to have a full team of water, right? At most, I'm only going to have 2 to like 3, right? And that one is guaranteed going to be Dorothy, probably Privity as my support, and Helm as my support, right? But if I'm using Mary on the team as well, I'm not going to need Helm, right? Because Privity already gives the attack buff that Helm is basically giving besides her heal, right? So it would just be 3 of them in total, and I don't think she's going to benefit herself that much from this attack buff than the damage. Like, the damage as strong element is pretty good, but her and Privity are not going to benefit that much from it, right? Maybe Privity in PvP will benefit from it a lot more, but her herself is not going to benefit from it whatsoever, especially since her only source of damage is literally her first skill, right? Her normal attack is a Mary source of damage, where Dorothy's is, I think, her second skill, and really just the second skill, right? Which is you're being spammed the whole time, right? And then Privity's is really just going to be that her burst skill. So it's literally, and her second skill too, right? So Privity, yeah, if you use Vesti, then by all means Vesti 2, Viper 2, but realistically you're only gonna have like a total of 2 to 3, max 3, minimum 2, or minimum 1, right? 1 to 3. But I'll remember all the other best characters in the game are not of the water class, right? If we go to the tier list, Litter, Senti, Blanc, all these characters, none of these characters are water characters, right? Besides Dorothy. Right, none of these characters are water characters besides Dorothy. So and Privity, of course. So it's really kind of hard to say, but I do think she's a character you should go for. I think she's going to be one of the best healers in the game, 1000%, honestly. And she's going to be quite efficient too, since full bursts are quite easy to get to, especially if you're running her with Dorothy, which is what they seem. Actually, I think they want you to run her with Neon, because apparently Neon is a water character, right? I didn't even know that. But Neon, she's not here, but apparently, like, I didn't know their codes changed as well, right? Am I tripping? Like, where is Iron? I guess it does change. Maybe I was tripping. I guess that's just something that slipped my mind. Their codes change, but if we go to character selection and we go to here, you will see that they added Neon. Where is she? They added Neon somewhere here. Blue Ocean Neon, and she's a water element too. So she's most likely going to be meant for Neon. You're most likely gonna have to go for both of them. But I could probably tell you the reason why it's saying water coded allies is for Neon. So you can expect Neon to do mad damage. Especially since Neon's whole thing is for her to like go crazy against fire type enemies. So it most likely is the reason why. So you guys let me know if you're summoning or not. Even I gave you guys all these little points and facts here. But yeah, I would highly recommend to summon for Mary for sure, right? Healers, you're just going to need them for majority of your teams when it comes to solo raids, union raids, and freaking PvP as well. And if you don't have a good healer, then this is going to be one of the best healers for you. So yeah, it's your boy Zxous, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if there's any points that I missed out on and I didn't mention, right? But yeah, it's your boy Zxous. I'm out. Peace.